When fitting bushes to the late Amazon, there's a couple of things we need to know about it to be absolutely certain of supplying the right bush first time. So let's just go and have a look underneath the car as to what we need to know to help you order the right part. Okay, just to get some standard phraseology, this here, with a big bush at the back and a small bush at the front, is a torque arm. That is to say, it stops the whole axle from rotating. So that's a torque arm. Up here, rather more hidden, outboard and above, is the support arm, which is symmetric. It has the same small bush at each end, as opposed to the torque arm, which has the big bush and the little bush. Okay, so torque arm, little support arm. Now let's go and look at the information we need to know from you. Just for the sake of completeness, this here we refer to as the Panhard rod. And that's simple, that's the same on all our cars. We need to know nothing more about that. Before I progress, let me just explain why we like polyurethane. These are the original type metallastic and rubber bushes. As time progresses, rubber is becoming poorer and poorer quality and decaying far faster than the original quality used to be. So therefore, that's one reason why we don't particularly like supplying original style bushes anymore. The other reason is that polyurethane is better in every respect. Its NVH, that's noise, vibration and harshness qualities, is infinitely superior to the original rubber. So therefore you gain everything. If you're a road user, the noise is less, the vibration is less, the harshness is less. If you're a competition user, everything's become slightly more resilient, and the car handling is improved. So there is no downside to fitting polyurethane bushes if you use good quality. Now there is a manufacturer out there that produces dreadful bushes. So do not be misled by the fact that it's half the price. Do not be tempted. The reason it's half the price is because it's not even half as good. That set aside, now let's go and see what it is I need to know in order to supply the right bushes. Let's start with the simple bit, the support arm. That is the arm that has an identical bush each end. On your Amazon axle, it's the one that sits higher and outboard, closest to the brake backplate. Now this can come in two guises. One, probably hurt. Can you see that? One is the hourglass shaped here. So that's an hourglass original bush, and that's an hourglass polyurethane. Okay, so that's simple. If you've got those, you just tell me, support arm has hourglass, and that's the end of the discussion. More interesting, or more awkward, is if you've got purely cylindrical bushes. That is to say, that's how the original bush looks. So you've got a steel sleeve inside, rubber, and a steel outer, all of which has to be pressed out of the boss. And what I mean by the boss is this bit of cylindrical metal that is welded to the rod. Now the annoying thing when fitting polyurethanes is that this boss comes in two widths. And so I need you to tell me that width across the boss, which is either going to be 32 millimeters or 38 millimeters. Now be careful, because if it's the narrow one, you'll see a significant amount of this metal sticking out. So of course you do not want to measure that width across the bush. you'll be wanting to measure this width across the boss. Okay, that's all I need to know for that. And here's the difference of what you will receive depending on that information. There's the original. If you've got the wide 38mm boss, then you get this narrow-shouldered polyurethane. If in fact you have the skinny 32mm boss, then you get this with the broad shoulder. They're all the same overall height, as it were. So that's the difference, and that's why it's important to measure the boss. Going to the torque arm, here you go. So once again, for the little bush, I need to know the width of the boss, and here you can see clearly the difference between the two widths. There's a 38, and there is a 32. And you can see, indeed, the metallastic protruding from the boss. So once again, it is that measurement there that is important. 32, 38, the original. And then the only other thing I need to know from the torque arm is the fat boy. Rarely, it can be a purely cylindrical bush. This isn't common. 67 was the only year in which that was available. More commonly, it is another hourglass. So the big bush is a choice of hourglass or cylindrical. That is it. That's information there will then permit us to give you the right bush first time. Thank you.